cleaner than the beach. When I walk by, try to suck on my drip. I be cleaner than the beach. When I walk by, try to soak on my drip. Pull up to the spot. Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Tanika, or Touched by Tanika, whichever one you want to call me. I'm here today with a quick little tutorial on how I shape nail tips to the coffin shape, as well as doing the 2-ball acrylic method. On here, as you can see, I have straight clippers, not curved. Make sure that they are straight nail clippers, and I am just cutting just a little bit of the sides off so that I'm able to achieve that look that my client is wanting, which is the coffin shape, not ballerina. Ballerina is a little bit more like more narrow, like skinny at the top or whatever, but she is wanting coffin. So you're just clipping off just a little bit of the sides, not too much, because if you do too much, then it's just gonna mess up the whole entire shape. The tips that I'm using are from the Nail Secret. That's her name on Instagram. Absolutely love them, and she sells them not only by the case, but she also sells individual sizes, which I was super happy that she does. So yes, definitely go and order those, because she runs specials like from time to time, but like I said, they're very affordable. So as I'm clipping, I'm getting ready to use the file that I use. The file that I use is a 100 grit files. I used to use 100 over 180, but the 100 grit file definitely works like just fine. So as I am filing, I'm making sure that the board is straight, but you don't want to necessarily like go underneath. If you do, just make sure you're not going too far underneath, because sometimes that'll make your shape like a little rounded, and then you'll start going a little too like narrow, like just not what the client is wanting. I file on the top where the tip well is, so that I'm able to blend it. You want to make sure that you always blend your tips, because I feel like it makes the nails last longer. It makes it look more natural whenever you apply the clear acrylic powder, but it just looks so much better whenever you do it, as you can see. So yes, so make sure that you just keep that board straight, and you're doing long strokes. You don't need to file too much, unless, like I said, you're trying to get that ballerina shape, which is that real narrow like coffin look. But in this video, she is just wanting the regular coffin shape. So as you can see, I am shaping them up, and yeah. So now that I have prepped the nails, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to do the acrylic application. As you can see, I used young nails. monomer as well as the polymer or the powder, whichever one y'all want to call. So I'm doing the 2-ball method, and I just take a medium-sized bead and I go kind of like where the stress area is of the nail, which is basically like the middle of the nail, and I go ahead and start there and work my way downward. I don't necessarily like my nails to be too thick unless it's upon the client's request, but on here she doesn't necessarily want them to be like thick or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and apply that first bead. Usually it's so much easier to like work your way down, making sure that everything is smooth. I like, after I apply the bead and get it to working down, I like the brush to be just a little bit dry, and sometimes I'll go back and like add a little bit more monomer to make it like smooth, because you don't want it to be all grainy looking or anything like that. You want it to just lay just right, so whenever it comes to filing, you don't have to do too much filing because you laid it down so smooth. So now I'm getting ready to grab my second bead, and this bead is just going to be a little bit smaller, and I drain that just a little bit, but not too much, because you don't want it to like be too dry to the point where it's not laying correctly around the cuticle area. Now in the cuticle area, you want to make sure that it is thin. You don't want it to be too thick, because whenever it's too thick, it just looks too bulky. It looks too bulky. You want it to be thin all the way around in that area. It looks so much cleaner too, especially whenever you prep the nails, which I do prep the nails a little differently, so I want to do a separate video on how I do that. But anyways, as you can see, I have wet my brush just a little bit more. Now I'm blending everything together so that it looks just very, very good, like really, really good. So here I am doing it again. So on this nail, it's a clear tip, also from the Nail Secret, and clear tips can be a little tricky because you don't want bubbles in your acrylic, so you want to make sure that you're picking up that monomer real good. I don't really know how to explain it, but you just want to be sure that there's no bubbles in it, because it's definitely going to show on top of the clear tips. Also, whenever you are applying that first bead, you want to make sure that you don't get any acrylic that's going on the sides of the nail tip to the point where it will roll under the nail tips, because whenever you apply that whenever you apply that top coat, you're going to see that extra excess acrylic that's underneath, and you don't want that at all. So just make sure that you're being very careful whenever it comes to it. Make sure it's not too liquidy whenever it comes to that clear nail. So I'm doing the same process on all of the rest of the nails, and I'm just gonna let you guys go ahead and enjoy them. And yeah. So I went ahead and just did one hand because I didn't really feel like I needed to do both hands to show y'all the process, because I use the same method. So I went ahead and filed them off camera and everything as well, so you guys are going to go ahead and see a close-up. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure y'all subscribe and comment below. Thank y'all.